I had my spiritual awakening over 30 years ago. I talk about the ascension of the planet that is upon us and my process of awakening and ascension. The last couple days, Source has been working with me about remembering who I am. And it's interesting because when I had my awakening and when I was a little kid, I always carried a light that guided me. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but after 30 odd years looking back, I was guided. And that light kept me going. It kept me from falling into despair because I had a really dysfunctional childhood and then had experiences that I created based on the reflections that I needed to heal that. So the light allowed me to go further, to keep moving, to keep seeking, which is ironic because really we're seeking that actual light that I'm speaking about. So Source has been talking to me about it. And so Source talks to me through dreams a lot and through conversations that we have when I wake up or before I go to bed because it's quiet. And I had a couple of dreams about some ex-partners. One I had met about just over a decade ago. And I was already in my early 40s at this time. And the light that I had been carrying had been crushed through just everyday life. Through the darkness that's on this planet, through the suffering, through having relationships with people who are also lost and trying to find their light. You know, and when they think they don't find it within you, they either leave or they try to grasp and use you for the light that they don't know is within them too. And I did that too. I didn't know. Like, I had this drive for spiritual awakening and I was really heavy into that community, but I still didn't understand what that really meant. To remember. So I met this man. We had a relationship for about 4 months, and he was able to reflect my divine truth to me, that light that was mine. And I had always done that for other men. And I had never found anybody who could do it for me, and it was super profound. And I needed it. I needed it because I probably would have left this planet and not remembered because I had got so caught in the hole of my own darkness that I couldn't see the light within me. So he reminded me through reflection in a way that was divine, in a way that was unconditional and all-encompassing and made me feel at home and safe. But that was me. It was me, but at the time I was still looking outside myself. But God was saying, I'm going to remind you, Cheryl, I'm going to plant these seeds and remind you because you're digging a very deep hole. So what happened was we eventually parted ways because we were at different stages in life at the time, and it broke me because that light that was mine, I felt got taken away. And now I wasn't blaming him. He was an amazing person. It was an internal belief that we all have that light comes from outside, which is separation, which is duality, which is why we're here, is to remember that we were never not that light. We were never separate from consciousness. But it's difficult because the mind's at play and the human has all these patterns and beliefs, and, you know, she's covered with a thick web of mistruths. But Source has been saying it's time. So I had this dream with this young man. And long story short, but I hadn't seen him in a long time. And I saw him and I went over to him and he picked me up and we embraced. And I remembered, I'm getting emotional because I can remember now. I remembered the feeling of the light. And so I've been working with that, and I put my dream into ChatGPT. I don't normally use it, but for dream interpretations and little things I do, because I do feel like we need to find the guidance within, but I was guided to do it. And I got an exercise to do to sit in that light, to let it rise in my body, and then also then let it drop back down, to anchor, to embody in my body, because I'd never truly done that. And I think when I had that deep reflection and then lost it, I was scared. I was scared to open again because of the pain of losing it. Now, this is all a human interpretation. But the human mind doesn't make sense. That's what I've seen. So I worked with that, and then I could feel it coming back in. And then I had another dream about one of my first boyfriends who cheated on me. And I'm sure these two are coming in a full circle, because it was at that time that light that I had been carrying really dimmed, because, you know, I took it on. I believed that I had done something wrong, that it was me, you know, that again, this light, this beautiful light that was reflected was outside myself, coming from him. And, you know, when you lose that, you drop into a despair. But in this dream, he was walking by and he saw me saying something that wasn't nice about him. And I felt bad, because like, that's the light in me saying like I'm not like that. I really love everybody, and I always have, to a fault. But so I ran after him, and I could feel his pain, and we had a conversation, and I said sorry, and he said, "Do you forgive me?" Getting emotional again. And I realized that I really hadn't. But it was more about forgiving myself, because holding on to the sadness and, you know, any anger or anything that like had happened back then, hanging on to it was covering my light. And so like the tears like that are welling right now is from just the appreciation from both of these men, how they still can assist, and how the ones that we love can assist us, even if it looks ugly on the outside in the external world, that we're all in this together. So I had a conversation with Source about it, and it was saying, it was never about them, Cheryl. And again, like, I've been on this spiritual journey a really long time, and I know this, but I didn't know it. So it isn't this big grand thing when people say like, oh, like, remember who you are. Because we come in and we do remember as kids. Like, look at little kids, the light they carry. And then as they go along, things just muddy it up and they forget. But that is who we are. It always has been who we are. And we forgot. And that never came from anybody else but you as that little kid. And that's what Source has been telling me. And I felt it. I felt it come in, the energy, the understanding drop in like a pillar. And I remember. And I'm sharing this story so that maybe you can remember too. Because that's why I'm here. Source has said, talk to those that resonate with you, Cheryl. Tell them your story. Tell them how messy it was. Tell them that you're just an everyday human like them, who remembers. So if you resonate with my frequency, if you got to the end of this video with me, then subscribe and follow my journey of enlightenment, of becoming the new human on the new earth, which is here. We're creating it now. Those who remember, those who really remember the light, the divine light that they carry, that we all carry. And that's how I forgive people and I forgive myself. Because we're all pieces of that light. We're all the same. We're all trying to figure it out. And that's why I want to help. Just by telling my story. So that hopefully you can remember too.